Welcome to the Shootin' podcast, presented by Heath Riles Barbecue, with tips, tricks, and an inside look with some of the top pitmasters in the game. Now here's your host, Heath Riles.
Welcome back, everybody. We are starting season 2 of our podcast, and I can tell you, we learned a lot from all our mistakes on season 1, and we're steady working through equipment failures,
Still
even
learning.
at the beginning of season 2. And I hope y'all have got some patience with us as we're going to continue to learn and grow this thing. And today, I guess I should say, I'm joined by my lovely wife, Candace. How are you doing today, baby?
I'm good.
Just good?
Yeah, it's hot out. It's kind of hot in here, to be honest. I mean, it's just hot.
Well,
it's
we have
Mississippi heat.
We have a 114 heat index. I mean, so what do you expect?
Hot.
Hot. That's right.
Hot.
And so,
As our little girl says,
our
hot.
little girl will say, hot. That's it. You know, we're not doing much cooking right now out there filming. We've already pre-recorded a few cooking videos for the next
You
few
don't
weeks.
wanna
'cause
sweat?
It's so hot. I don't think it's very appealing to people to see me sweating in their food.
In the food. Yeah. Well,
Yeah. You know, when we first started, we used to film right through July and August, the hottest parts of the year, and you'd wipe sweat from my face and all that before
That's
dripping
true
the
love.
food, and that was true love there.
was.
Yeah.
Not anymore.
True love with that food that deep. But now, you know, getting a little recording down in the morning time before it turns hot and turning back to some shorter videos, just what we have to do right now, works a lot better. You know, one big thing that we've got coming up is we're finna leave on a trip in a couple days.
I know. And so we haven't ever, we're going to Key West. Haven't ever been to Key West. Been to a lot of tropical places, but not Key West. We're going to Bear and Burton's Rub Tug Invitational.
And for you guys who don't know Bear and Burton, those are the W sauce founders, the America's Worcestershire sauce. And I will tell you, I love it. I use a 64-ounce half-gallon jug at home.
Yeah.
It's a great marinade. Finishing sauce goes in gravies. It does everything. I actually
Butter.
love it. But one big thing about this whole fundraiser is for pediatric brain cancer in Key West. And so it's the first year of it, but they've brought together a lot of people.
Yeah, I think a lot of people kind of quickly, because I think they kind of thought up this event and they wanted to do it soon in peak season of, you know, fishing and lobstering and that kind of stuff there in Key West. And I don't think they had a lot of time, but they've done a really good job with the time that they did have. So they've brought, you know, several people, Matt Pittman, Stale Cracker. I don't remember. I mean, the list goes on and on.
Dave Williamson.
Yeah. There's a whole list you can look at on their
Mel from Dark
website.
Side of the Grill. Who else?
Lots of people.
Yeah, it's more than I can't remember them all.
Yeah.
I know a few people couldn't attend this year, like Tuffy or Malcolm. They already
Chad's
had
going to be
engagement.
there.
Chad Ward's going to be there. It should be an all-around good time.
Yeah.
And so it's just going to be
So it's like a 3-day event.
3-day
I feel like
event.
we need to talk.
First day, we're going to be deep sea fishing. You got your own little team. Each of us kind of going to be going up against one another. The fish are worth different points for whatever we catch. I think we got to set hours out on the water. Everybody does that morning. And then we come back and, of course, they assess the fish and we skin them and clean them and do all that kind of good stuff.
I'm not cleaning fish. Y'all can
No,
do that.
you're not. And then we're going to cook some fresh fish.
Yeah.
The next day, we're going to get up and go lobster diving, catch some lobsters. And we were told that we're going to have grills set up on an island, and that we're going to cook
Like a
lobsters and some of the fish we caught the day before, and just hang out and enjoy some cocktails. And then the last day, we're going to cook some Wagyu beef and some. I think RC Ranch is providing some Wagyu beef.
I think that's what he said.
Compart pork. I know Jim Compart's provided some of the pork there. So it should be a phenomenal time for some of the VIPs. So if anybody's going to be in Key West in the next few days, you know, Saturday, Sunday, Monday is going to be a great time down there next week. So it should
This
be,
week.
like I said, phenomenal. Or should I say the end of the week, you know, when this podcast airs. So last but not least, a couple of weeks ago, we were able to get a podcast film with Bear and Burton. And so let's roll into that right now and introduce Bear and Burton. Hey guys, we got the W Sauce guys coming to us from Florida right now. We've got them live on camera. How are y'all doing today, guys?
Good. How you doing?
Good. So we got Burton and we got Bear. I want everybody to know who Burton and Bear is. So tell us a little bit about yourselves.
All right. You want to go first?
Yeah.
It's a big guy.
I'm a fishing guy in Key West, Florida, basically.
Yep. I'm Burton. I live up in Bradenton, Florida. Started this business down here in Key West, but fortunately the business blew up, but unfortunately you couldn't run it from Key West, so I had to move up to the mainland. So yeah, we started down here where we're at right now in Key West, but
Somebody had to go.
Somebody had to go, and this guy's got to fish every day, so I had to go.
We'll get him back one of these days.
So kind of tell us the story. I read the story on your guys' website, but I'm sure that everybody hasn't taken the time to go read that story. So kind of tell us how you guys.
Well, Bear and I have been friends for a long time. We were down here in the Keys during quarantine, and I owned a big fishing tackle manufacturing company, and he was a fishing guide. And when you make fishing tackle, it pretty much all comes from overseas. And if you know anything about quarantine, what happened during that time with COVID, overseas shipping went from $3,200 a container to $30,000 a container. And I was just like, all right, I'm going to have to shelf this business because couldn't afford to really bring in product anymore. We had the sauce that my family's been making for 100 years, multi-generational. And every time I'd go home to St. Pete and come back to Key West, I'd bring a bottle for Bear, who would promptly eat a 750 milliliter bottle in about 3 days. He's the big guy over here. And he loved it. So he's like, oh, we should bottle that sauce. He asked me a couple times, we should bottle the sauce, and finally started working on it and got a process authorization from the FDA and put it in a bottle. Well, before we even put it in a bottle, we picked up 68 grocery stores in Louisiana. They tasted it once. They tasted our sample stuff and loved it so much they put it in there and bought our entire first batch. And it's been like strapping ourselves to a meteor ever since.
Yep. Yeah. We were gonna like sell at the Keys. You know what I mean? Start small.
Farmers markets,
that sort of stuff, and then
it's been a good time ever since.
I didn't have a chance.
Oh, I know. I mean, it's like one day W Sauce wasn't around, and then the very next day, it's like it's everything. It was like, okay, I got to get some of this. And actually, Malcolm got it in his shop. I wasn't able to order any. Y'all were out online, and he got it in his shop. And I drove to Hernando that day to grab some bottles of it to try. And
that's awesome.
And of course, y'all know we order it direct from y'all now by the half gallons and gallons, and I keep a half gallon in the pantry. The little bottle don't do enough for me.
I'm
awesome.
the same way.
Yeah, it's cool to see it go. I grew up watching my grandma make it when I was in diapers, so it's been something that my family's made for friends and family forever. Just we give it away every Christmas. We make a batch here, a batch there. And I always grew up hearing, one day we're going to put that in a bottle, and man, it went in a bottle and it went everywhere. Like I said, it's been like strapping ourselves to a meteor. We've been came out with the new breakfast sauces, and they've done really well. So it's been a fun ride.
Yeah, that breakfast sauce has got a little bite to it. Even the breakfast sauce too, it's got a little.
Yeah, and I'm like, I think it's just getting started. I'm like, I got really high heat tolerance. Burton doesn't really, so it's like we try to find like the middle ground. And I'm like, it's just starting to get hot. Like I can almost get it,
Yeah.
My father-in-law loves hot too, and we give him a bottle of both of them, right? And he come back and he said, "I thought you said one of them wasn't spicy." And I said, well, "You said you liked hot." And so he's like, "Well, they're good, but damn, that's a little warm."
It's funny. Yeah, it's all coming from a Florida pepper, a daddle pepper, which is really mild normally, and we don't add anything more to it. But yeah, daddles aren't typically that hot, but to me it's not that hot either.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe we gotta tone it down a little bit.
So you got your initial pop of the 68. I'm assuming that's Rausch's, right?
Yep.
I was listening to another podcast. I think you were on Burton and with Dave Williamson, and I happened across it on the internet. You were talking about meeting Donny Rausch on a pier down fishing or something in Louisiana.
We met Donny Rausch down here in Key West, and we had a chance meeting with him, and we got him a bottle, told him what our plans were. And at this time, we didn't have any bottles yet. We didn't have any labels. We were
it's the funniest story.
We were putting it in these little liquor bottles, these 12-ounce bottles we were buying from Walgreens. And we're dumping out the liquor and putting it in there. And we brought him a bottle, and he called us the next day, and he said, "Man, this stuff is absolutely amazing. Can you get me a case of it?" Yeah. Well, we can get you a case. So we run Walgreens liquor in Key West, pick up 12 more of these bottles, dump them all out into pitchers because we don't want to abuse the alcohol and throw it away. So we dump it all into pitchers and cleaned the bottles out, got them sanitized, loaded them up, got the labels off of them, loaded them up with W sauce, made a fresh batch, dropped off a case to Donny, and 3 days later, the buyer from Rouse's calls us and was like, "Hey, we want to put that in the stores." And Donny took a chance with us and believes in us. And I mean, we owe that to a nice big start. Coming out in 68 grocery stores is pretty epic, in my opinion. I mean, after being in the business and seeing how hard it is and the struggle you do to try to get stores to carry your product, it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And it's been a good ride ever since.
I agree with you 100%. A lot of people think, oh, that can't be that bad, getting that product on a shelf somewhere in a grocery store chain. And it's like, you can get it in a mom and pops. I'm going to say fairly easy if you've got a good product, but those grocery store chains are ruthless. And we deal with, I don't know, well over a dozen now, 15, somewhere like that. And it's every day we find out something new in the business, if you know what I mean. It's like, oh, we didn't see that on that page documentation. You didn't tell us that.
But the amazing thing is none of them do it the same way. I mean, every single chain, it is from start to finish, night and day difference. They do nothing the same. It's different. The only thing they do the same is communicate via EDI. But other than that, getting into a grocery store is you have to learn. You have to get intimately involved before you actually even make it through the door. So it's been a fun learning experience. We got it, I think.
So you have the W sauce, and then you have the Fireshire and the Veganshire. So are those varieties something that your family made, or is that something that you guys decided to do after the fact of the original one?
Well, the Fireshire was a mistake. So like it was like the third batch that we made, and we like put a lot more habaneros in there. We messed up, miscalculated.
We don't remember exactly how much more we put in there. We tried to recreate it after that. We never could. We'd maybe been in Key West a little bit too much that night. And had a couple of drinks, and we made this batch. We both woke up the next day, and I came over to his house, and we tried it. We're both like,
"Oh my god,
that's freaking amazing!"
Yeah,
that's absolutely really. We could never recreate it.
So we're like, we got Fireshire, you know.
It took forever.
Now we got to figure out a recipe.
Yeah. Now we got to figure out what we did.
Yeah,
and tried to reverse engineer how many peppers do we have left in the fridge. 10 times. It was funny. But then Fireshire came out, and Veganshire just came to be because we do a lot of events. We try and show up as much as we possibly can. We used to do a lot of the egg fests and whatnot around the Florida area. And every time I do an event, somebody come up to us and be like, "Hey, I can't eat anchovies, or can't eat fish. I have a fish allergy." And so I would go home and make him a non-anchovy batch from scratch on the stove and just mail it to him for free. And we heard it enough to the point where we figured we needed to come out with a Veganshire. And the Veganshire, we weren't really aiming for vegans. I hate to admit that. I understand that, there are some out there, but it was more for the fish allergy, and it just became a thing. And it's great. I mean, it does great. It does well when we put it in natural stores, and does well on Amazon and whatnot, but we're not out there pushing it too much.
Yeah, I had somebody, I didn't respond to the comment yet. I don't know if someone on the team did, but someone wrote in the other day. We made an announcement. We had it online available now. Can't believe you're carrying a vegan product. and I was like, I just sat down on the patio with, cocktail, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to let this stone lie to tomorrow, right? I'm not complaining to this gentleman that actually is a fish allergy, and that's the reason it was created. And some people just don't realize they don't think before they speak. I don't think on some of those products like that.
Yeah, and I didn't realize fish allergies were so prevalent. They're actually pretty prevalent. But I guess the surroundings we have, we don't see many fish allergies in Key West and around the areas when you're fishing. So yeah.
No, we just don't know we have it.
Are there any new products coming?
Breakfast sauce and breakfast sauce 2 came out. We've been working on Bloody Mary mix for a very, very long time. It's really hard in my opinion, to make a good Bloody Mary mix because we won't use preservatives. Everything we do with our products is super clean. There's a lot of headaches we could save if we want to dump some preservatives in it, but we don't. And Bloody Mary mix unpreserved means you have to do a hot fill on it. And when you hot fill it, it kind of changes the flavor and brings different things forward that you don't want. So we've been working on the Bloody Mary mix for a long time. I'm hoping by the time you guys come down here for the Rub Tug that we'll have Bloody Mary mix in a bottle, at least to give you guys. I don't think it'll be for sale yet, but we've got a great flavor now. We just got to get bottled and labeled, and hopefully we'll have it in time to give you guys some samples.
A lot of people don't realize how much testing actually goes into these food products, creating them. Did y'all know once you got started in this, how much actually regulations and like scaling a recipe from small to large, how much easiness is involved in all that?
It's a lot of work. I mean, we can make a 1 gallon batch, and then we go to make to step it up 100-gallon batch. All of a sudden, we're getting too much clove, or it's too sweet, or it's too this. So you constantly have to change that when you're doing, when you're growing your batch size. I think W sauce was actually pretty forgiving in the beginning. It was a good way for us to start. While it's a hard product to make, it's 50% vinegar, so the acidity level of it keeps it to where we don't have to play with too much as far as preservatives and stuff like that. When you start making different products, you start to realize, I mean, it's crazy. I've always tried to eat healthy in my life, and I've always tried to stay away from preservatives and different things like that. And you realize once you start making food that the FDA regulations push us to put preservatives in things, or it's really hard to make it work. And we've stuck true to our label and keeping things really clean and keeping those preservatives and those chemicals out of any product that we make, which outside of the W sauce, which means breakfast sauce and Bloody Mary, has given us some headaches. But we're going to stick true to that because I don't think you need preservatives. There's a lot of things you don't need in your food nowadays that the FDA forces food manufacturers to shove in there, or work harder, or pay more to manufacture it.
Yeah, that's definitely a thing with us with like MSG. I started off developing rubs, putting accent in them, right?
Yeah, which is MSG. I love accent.
I love accent too. And so for my competition grade rubs, when I were building the first 6 or 7 rubs, I used accent in them. Yep. Well, then you start getting some of the people, when you start gaining a little traction, kind of complaining about it. Well, I do kind of understand it to a certain point, but also at a certain point, MSG occurs naturally in tomatoes, cheese,
seaweed, which is what originated from, seaweed.
And I don't know, it's almost like a higher, I don't want to get scalded for saying this, but it's almost like a more potent version of salt is what I explain to people. A Japanese version of salt. It's a flavor enhancer. And I get with some of the allergies that some people have, kind of like the peanut allergies, but it's not nowhere near as graphic as people describe it as, I guess, is a better way to say it.
Yeah, I think MSG is, it's in a lot of the barbecue. It's in a ton of the rubs. And I think the way I've looked at the field, and I've looked at the ingredient panel of everything, and it's like you almost have to have MSG in your product when you're making a barbecue rub, because you can't compete on flavor without it. It's with the sauces we can, but with the rubs, I don't see how you guys would make a successful rub without putting MSG in it.
Well, we've got, is it 8 with MSG, and then I have, or 7 with MSG, and then the remainder don't have MSG. And I think it depends on the type of product you're building also, and the amount of salt content, because you can replace the MSG with salt as long as it's not a 50% salt rub like you're talking about vinegar, right?
Yeah.
I know that a great example is like Cajun rubs. We know that they're 50% salt, and that's why you see Cajun rubs are manufactured a lot cheaper than some of your other stuff. Yeah. And I went the opposite route on one of my, like the Cajun Creole garlic butter. I didn't put as much salt and try to put more butter and flavors into it, which made it a lot more expensive for me to manufacture.
It's expensive, but it's good. I can imagine that.
It's good, and I tried to keep it with that. But a lot of people go, "Oh, it's a Cajun rub; it should be cheap." And I'm like, no, it's not cheap. It's very expensive to manufacture because the butter buds in it.
Yeah.
It's just a lot of learning curve. A lot of people don't understand that manufacturing end of things.
It's a giant pain. I mean, I can't even imagine. But I actually was playing. I started deep diving a couple months ago into MSG because I wanted to see why every rub has it. Right now, my wife claims that when she eats MSG, she feels sick. So I went into this deep dive to figure it out. And if you look at what MSG is, it's seaweed extract. It came to be from seaweed. If you look at the history of MSG, they used to put seaweed in all their food, and they couldn't get seaweed for a while. The farms had been upset or something like that. So scientists started isolating the different compounds in seaweed and found MSG was what was giving it the umami flavor enhancer. And so I started playing with different types of seaweed, and I actually found a seaweed that if it's ground up right, you can actually replace MSG in the flavor, but it's expensive. So I'm going to go down the long road. Sorry about that.
Wow. Oh, I mean, you may have to dive into that later on together then. That's I'm interested in things like that.
the rabbit hole is real.
Yeah, I've actually. I mean, it really replaces it well. And you can do it inexpensively, but it's large purchase lots and whatnot. Where I will never make rubs. I'm never ever going to try and make a rub. It was just something I got obsessed about and started playing with.
For sure. Well, look, one of the main things that we want to talk to you guys about, tell us about the Rub and Tug event coming up in Texas.
It came from a small little joke at a pizza place we were having dinner at, and we had been fishing with Matt Pittman that day. And he had caught a tarpon, and we got beautiful footage of this tarpon. I don't know if you guys know, it's a big game fish down here. Bear's kind of good at catching them. He might be known for it. Maybe just a little bit. So we caught this tarpon and got footage of it. We're sitting there talking about it. Let's come up with a little tournament idea that we had. At the same time, we had so many people who have helped W Sauce down the road. I mean, we owe everybody a huge thank you because everybody knows about W Sauce because of you guys, not because of us. And I wanted to do something to thank the community and bring some guys down and have fun and go fishing. And then over talking about it, we kept mulling it back and forth, and it just kind of grew and grew, and it became a charity event. National Pediatric Cancer Foundation is a charity we chose for the event. I've worked with them a lot in the past. They do a lot of great things for kids with cancer. They do they fund a lot of studies into cure. They're a great organization, and the lion's share of their funds that they raise go into the cause, right? If you do some background research on them, you'll see that I think it's 81 or 89% of every dollar raised goes directly to funding the cure, which is huge. And so we started to put this event together, and we reached out because we knew Matt Pittman was going to be in for Me Church 100%. We reached out to a couple other people we knew, and it just started to grow from there. And a lot of the barbecue community got behind it and did some amazing things. So the tournament's a 3-day event. The first day is fishing. So 8 in the morning, everybody's getting in their respective teams on a guided boat. So we'll have Team Heath Riles, Teams Meat Church, Team Stale Cracker is going to be there. All the different teams will be there. I'm going to go to the boats. We're going to go fishing. Everybody's going to come back that day. Obviously, the fish you catch are going to go towards points. Come back that day. We have some really cool stuff set up. I'm not sure exactly what's going to happen after the fishing that day, but we have some cool places in Key West that want to do tours and take you through handmade cigars. We have some other yachts that may be there, and we can do some different things on after that. The second day is our lobstering tournament. So down here, lobster season is kind of a big deal. We have Caribbean lobster. They're really kind of easy to catch, and skinny water, 3, 4, 5 feet of water, you can get lobster. And then at 12 o'clock that day, everybody's going to meet at Marvin Key Sandbar, which is a big, beautiful Caribbean-looking sandbar down here in the Keys. And we're going to have Big Green Egg set up all over the island. I think Big Green Egg is setting up 15 mini maxes. Loco's bringing a boiler and a griddle. All that's going to get set up. Everybody's going to have some fun out there. You guys can choose to cook whatever you want. So there's going to be lobster tails available, obviously, fish from day one. RC Ranch, one of our big meat sponsors, bringing tomahawks. Compart's bringing some pork products down as well. You guys can just cook, have a good day. We're going to have a couple chefs out there who are great at cooking Caribbean lobster and have a lot of experience. Who's going to be out there just to cook some stuff for you guys as well. Day 3 is a fun barbecue competition between all you guys. So we're setting up 30 Big Green Eggs around the pools at this beautiful resort called Ocean's Edge. And there's going to be beef and pork provided. Everybody can cook it any way they want. It's going to be slightly judged. It's going to be more of a fun competition. But at the end of this whole thing, your points for your lobster, your points for your fish, and your points for your food come together. And we got a grand champion. Got a really cool trophy that we're building right now. Some really cool stuff. But the charity's really going to win out on all this. We're raising some great money. We have great sponsors. If you go to Rub Tug Invitational, you can see all the sponsors who are there, all the teams who are competing. But at the end of this thing, there's going to be a really nice check handed over in PCF, which is really cool.
That'll be good. I'm looking forward to being there and doing the lobstering. And I've never caught any tarpon. I've been deep sea fishing several times, and probably going next week, to be honest with you, in Orange.
Yeah. Red snapper.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I know Norm's always done real well with you, Bear, tarpon fishing. I never knew Matt fished with you all a lot, or Jim Compart, until I got to talking to several people.
Big Jim. My man, I love him.
Yeah, the tarpon are still here. I've seen some big tarpon in the flats. I mean, I don't know what they're biting. You got to ask him. I haven't touched a fishing rod since we launched this company 2 years ago.
Burton's been fishless.
I have not been a rod. Even that day we're out there fishing with Matt, I still didn't even touch a fishing rod. I haven't touched one in literally 2.5 years probably. Which is sad because I used to fish
all the
every
time.
day.
Yeah.
So the Rub and Tug, you kind of told us, and just conversations that you and I have had, you guys plan for this to kind of become an annual thing, right?
Oh yeah, it's an invitational event. Obviously, all the teams are going to be invited every year. It's going to grow and probably change a little bit from the first year to the second year as it grows in popularity. We've had a lot of sponsors who would have come in this year, but they didn't have time to get in, which will allow us to do some different things and maybe change the structure of how we're doing it. But it's going to be an annual event.
And they're Key West has a lot to offer fishing wise too. So like we're going on like bay boats this year, and there's options for a lot more other things down the road. And,
this year's going to be all bay boat class.
Yeah.
Next year should be offshore, probably offshore class, like 32 and up, going for the big fish.
Mix it up, see what everybody likes to do, and then kind of keep going with it.
Yep.
That'll be fun. I've been close to 400 miles out before, and I don't think I want to do that again.
No, that's a lot of fuel.
Yeah.
I think we went 370 actually, and we went out around the oil wells and fished for tuna late at night, fished our way all the way out and then fished for like 6 hours. And I remember it was a 13-hour boat ride back to the shore.
Wow. Yeah, y'all went,
it's a long day. Where were you out of?
We went out of Texas, out of Galveston, and went out.
See, down here, you don't have to go that far. Down here, I mean, everything's, you're out past the reef line in 6 miles. So, you start dropping fast past that.
Yeah, that's a lot better for me. That 13-hour boat ride back was a killer.
It's a long ride, especially after you've been fishing. You get wore out on the way out, then you fish, you're even more wore out, and you got to come back in 13 hours. It's a haul.
We were gone 44 hours on the water.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
That's serious.
I mean, we slept on the boat and drank on the boat and drank on the boat and slept on the boat, drank on the boat and ate. That was it. Yeah, and drink on the. Did I say drink on the boat?
I think you did once.
Yeah,
just once. But I mean, yeah, we know how it goes on boats. We had some fun times down here. Quarantine. We nobody was working. We were all out there fishing. Man. The fishing was amazing. I'm gonna tell you right now. We were catching fish in places you weren't supposed to. And but we did. We drank a lot. We processed a lot of beer. Is the way I like to put it.
Yeah.
That would probably be a good way to put it. I know we processed a lot of wine and beer during COVID.
Wine. Really.
Oh yeah. No, as soon as they started talking about the shutdown, I looked at my wife because we get like this first leaf or whatever wine delivery every month, and I was like, I double down.
That's it. You're at home and there's nothing going on. It's like, go ahead and crack that bottle, and you finish it. I'm like, open another one. Go ahead. Yeah, open another one.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, just keep it going.
Crank those numbers up. Yeah, we definitely processed some beer. We caught some fish.
Yeah, we did. A lot of fish.
Amazing fish. What was that? Over 20 sailfish that one day.
I think 30, 32.
It's crazy.
Well, look, we don't want to take no more of your guys' time up or anything like that. Candace, do you have any more questions or anything?
No, I asked most of my questions.
Of course, we'll see y'all in a few weeks coming up. And,
it's going to be awesome. Looking forward to it.
You ready to do some lobstering?
I'm ready to do it. I even got a GoPro so I can dive off the boat into the water.
I think we're going to put...
Except it's not going to be a dive. It's going to be like a belly flop.
Yeah, that's how we roll.
I think we're going to be putting GoPros on everybody. GoPro is the last-minute sponsor. They came in last minute for us.
Oh, cool.
So, really?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we got GoPro. I mean, we got a lot of great companies. Hook, Yeti, RC Ranch, Compart, obviously. The list is, I don't want to start naming because I'll forget some. And everybody's been tremendous. They've been very helpful for us. So it's been awesome.
Good deal. Well, I'm going to ship some stuff to your house coming up, Bear. I hope that's all right.
Absolutely. It'll be there when you get here.
That'll work. I want to make sure I got a good cold Yeti cooler. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
He's going to see your sad little V8 energy addiction. He was like, "Have you shipped that stuff to Bear's house yet? I got to have my V8 energies while I'm there." Like,
well, they go good with vodka. They go good for breakfast, for lunch. I mean, it is what it is.
Well, I'm gonna crack into those and see what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you're a peach mango fan, they're the peach mango V8s, and they're only like 40 calories or something, but they're great.
That's awesome.
And they're great with vodka. Really good.
With vodka?
Yeah, with vodka.
Well, peach mango is perfect with vodka.
It's been so hot lately. I've been doing Gatorade and vodka. It's trying to stay hydrated down here.
There's nothing wrong with that.
We do about water and vodka and add a little bit of Mio.
Yep.
Mio, yep.
Yep.
Then you can do any flavor you want.
It's a travel package. It travels easy.
Well, look, I appreciate you guys coming on. I will see y'all in a few weeks, and I can't wait to get this going, and I look forward to a trip every year.
Well, thanks for having us, and thanks for everything. You guys have been tremendous supporters of us, and I greatly appreciate it. It's humbling to have everybody behind us that's gotten behind us, and we definitely want to thank you guys.
Hey, well, thank y'all, and we'll see y'all in a couple of weeks, and we'll get the party started right.
All right,
That's it, man. Look forward to it.
Yep.
So I think at the end of last season, we started a mailbag segment that, where people write in on social media some questions they want to ask you. So got some of those questions this time for you.
Oh, boy.
Question 1 is from Chad Cox on Facebook. Do you ever look at this as work or something that you love to do?
I honestly look at this as something I love to do. As you know, I wake up without an alarm clock every day, 7 days a week. And if you didn't complain at me that much, I would probably come to the office 7 days a week. Just because I know I can't do that with everything we have going on with the family. But, yes, I am embedded in my work, and it does not feel like work. Barbecue's fun. I've kept it fun. And I think that's one thing that's really, really helped is just keeping it fun.
Carrie on Facebook, Carrie Chastain. What win was your first win, and which one means the most to you?
Oh, wow. Well, my very first win on my own under my team name would have been Murfreesboro, 2013. Would have been my first grand, really, as myself as a head cook. And it's a very memorable cook. You know, I love going back there. I'm going to say, though, one of the most memorable cooks first off that I had, just because there were so many local people there, that, you know, there's a lot of them I'm going to say in the top 5, or the top 5 I can name off pretty easy. But the one that's coming to me at this exact moment is not only the pig jig win when Pat Burt called me minutes after I won it, and he was not even there, would be winning Springfest, winning both of them back-to-back, the NBN and the KCBS contest that day.
Yeah, I agree. But I feel like another win that, I mean, some people, I don't know, but I mean, it wasn't like a grand champion win, but still winning first place ribs at Memphis in May. I feel like knowing that you have top 3 at Memphis in May is a feeling like no other to me. I know a long, long time ago when we used to cook with a different team, we made finals in hog. And even then, like, I remember that feeling then, which it was different, but, you know, it's just a feeling that I don't get at other contests. I shouldn't say you. I don't. I just feel like it's just different.
I agree. Making finals at Memphis in May is something that will almost send a cold chill over you and run chill bumps out on your arms, and it kind of does me talking about it.
Make people cry.
It makes people cry. It makes people happy. It makes people sad. It'll piss you off.
Some people get scared. They don't know what to do.
Some people can't talk. I don't have that problem with the talking part. I got it down.
Talk too much all the time. Even talk in your sleep sometimes.
It happens.
All right. Next question is from Tim Braden on Facebook, which Tim was actually at Memphis May with us. What's your favorite part about competing? Meeting old friends, new friends, the opportunity to share your passion with others, or just the big check trophy?
Well, I'm going to say that I don't look at the trophy or the check as really something. If we
not
win
the check for sure, but there have been trophies out there. You're like, man, I'd love to have one of those.
Unique trophies at unique contests. You know, I've went on trophy hunts before to get some of these unique trophies.
Some we never got. Those contests went away. You're never going to get them now.
Never going to get them. But everyone else, I set out and I got that trophy I've wanted so far.
Yeah.
I don't know. The best thing about going to barbecue contests, I do think, is seeing
everybody
and making new friends, because barbecue is a community that is all about friends, family, and food. And so when you have that, I feel like it creates that warm, fuzzy feeling inside of me that you don't get at a lot of other events that I go to.
Which rub from your lineup is your favorite? It's from Bruce on Facebook. I don't know how to say it. Chalet? Bruce Chalet? I may be saying that wrong.
Well,
Sheely.
that is such a hard question to answer. What is my favorite rub? Because I classify.
No, what rub from your lineup is your favorite?
I know what rub from my lineup, and it's hard for me to classify that because I have a variety of AP type rubs, and then I have my other rubs.
I feel like I know what you use the most, but I don't know that that's your favorite.
I use a lot of simple citrus.
Yes, you use it often on everything, but I don't know that it's your favorite.
I think garlic jalapeno is my favorite.
Pecan's my favorite. I know y'all didn't ask, but I'm telling you. All right, next question. What is the best word of advice for someone? What is the best word of advice that someone has ever given you? This is from Take It Easy Barbecue on Facebook.
It's done when it's done. There is no timeline.
That's true, and I feel like that goes back to you have to learn the feel of things, like just everything in general. Like
hard.
Ribs. When you taught me how to cook ribs, you can look at a temperature gauge all day long, but they might read a certain number, but they don't feel right. So it's just it all goes back to that piece of meat and how it was
treated
all
and all that. And it's very
different.
hard. You're my wife, and you know how much I've put into ribs as in general, and I know you've seen me cook brisket and butts and everything else contest-wise, chicken. But ribs teaching you that, because I was always messing with the big meats amongst that, it's hard to teach feel to somebody.
Yeah, for sure.
And so now that you've been cooking with
I feel like
me,
you have to stand there with that person
to be able to feel it
for a really long time to feel it right after they feel it to understand. Or you just have to learn it on your own, which is just going to take a really long time. I mean,
it's hard.
But that's part of it, I guess.
Yeah, so I think the best advice is meat is done when it's done. You're cooking to tenderness, and every piece of meat's treated differently, or the life of the animal.
Done when it's done, when you're talking about competition.
Yeah.
I guess.
It's done when it's done. You just got to give yourself time, and resting meat is not ever going to hurt it.
What rub is the closest to a taco seasoning? Preston on Facebook.
If I had to go taco season, I like a little bit more pepper, so I'm going to combine my, believe it or not, beef and chicken rubs.
Yeah, I was thinking beef rub for sure. Yeah, the chicken
I always
has
go
the
chicken
herbs
because
and
of
stuff
all
in
the
it.
herbs in it, and it's almost like a southwestern type rub to begin with a little bit of brown sugar added to it, but it don't have enough
It's not real sweet.
No, it's not sweet at all. But it has just a smidge in it, and if you take the beef rub that's so powerful with the pepper and the paprika and the chili powder and mix with it, I've used it as a taco seasoning several times. It's not a fine grind, but it's really good on skirt steaks and stuff like that.
I think this is a good question, but knowing you're probably not going to be able to answer all of this question, but it's from Shane LeClaire, and he wants to know the top 10 songs on your go-to playlist when you're cooking. And I know you're not going to know, you're probably not even going to know the names of 10 songs, but let's just see what you say.
You know what?
He knows what he likes, but he doesn't ever know the name or who sings it hardly.
You know what? I'm not even
unless it's Stevie Nicks. Then he knows.
I'm not even going to attempt. Fleetwood Mac is on that. All right, but I'm not even going to attempt to answer that question. I would much rather write them down to answer them to be fully going. So I'm going to come back to that question next time. You save it. And
okay, so on the next podcast, we're going to go back to this question. You're going to have 10 songs written down for Shane to know.
10 songs.
Okay. We'll
10
see.
songs. Just know that my last song is All I Do Is Win, Win, Win.
Oh, gosh.
Put it down there.
I guess this will be the last question, just kind of reading through. And I feel like if they watch your videos, they would maybe know the answer, but it's kind of an older video. But Dan Wright on Facebook wants to know drummies or flats.
Drummies are for dummies. I'm a flat man all the way, 110%. I just don't like all the cartilage and end meat on. Usually, it's on the end of the drummy part.
Yeah.
So The flat is, and I like leaving the wingtip on my flats, believe it or not, and a lot of people don't. That's just me.
All right. Well, that's all the questions that I have today.
All right, guys. I hope you enjoyed the Kickoff of Season 2 podcast with Bear and Burton and me and Candace here. And you're going to be very surprised at some of the guests we have on for Season 2 and some of the things we have in store for you. I'll see y'all next week with another podcast, and we'll be ready to shoot the Q.
Thank you for tuning in to the Shootin' the Q podcast. If you have any comments or suggestions for future episodes, please feel free to reach out to us on our social media channels or through our website. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast on your favorite platform. Leave us a review if you enjoyed the show. Until next time, keep shooting the Q.